15-year-old Black child dies because the ambulance is a no-show, basically. Put it up full mass. It's going to make your blood boil. In Georgia, December 5th, 15-year-old Amanda Sylvester was warming up before volleyball practice when she suddenly collapsed on the court. Luckily, many adults were at the Tracey Wyatt Recreation Complex in College Park, Georgia. That evening, including her coaches and the parks and recreation staff, who all jumped in to help. EMTs and fire rescue arrived at the scene in moments, according to a press release issued by the city, which is just outside of Atlanta. When the calls were made for an ambulance, the teen was, quote, alert and able to speak. Let me say that again, alert and able to speak. But the ambulance never showed up. And it likely cost this 15-year-old her life. Quote, Amanda was not just a player. She was family to us. And her untimely loss has left a hole in our hearts, reads a tribute on the website of her volleyball club Dream Chasers team. Quote, despite the urgent need for medical assistance, help never arrived in time. And we are determined to share her story to prevent such a tragedy from happening again. College Park city officials said an ambulance had been initially requested on a 911 call and through fire rescue. After desperately waiting, several follow-up calls were made, but no one ever arrived. Sylvester and her worried loved ones waited for more than an hour, reported Atlanta News First. Her mom then made the difficult decision to take her daughter to the hospital in her van. After arriving at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, Hughes Spalding Hospital, doctors were assessing the young athlete when she suffered cardiac failure and was revived once before dying, read the press release. Quote, Grady EMS never fully responded to the call at the Tracey Wyatt Recreation Complex, and that emergency transport request was not canceled. Unfortunately, such delays in emergency services are on the rise nationally. Investigate TV analyzed national data and found that the average wait time for an ambulance in the US is getting longer because of backups at hospitals. Emergency medical services crews reported being delayed returning to active service more than 890,000 times in 2023. What's more, 1 in 5 of those delays lasted at least an hour. Data from the South Atlantic region, which includes Georgia, show the average time for an ambulance to return to service was 20 minutes without a reported delay and rose to 36 minutes if there was crowding in the ER. In the young Sylvester's case, the reason for the disastrous no-show is still under investigation. City officials told news outlets they are following up with the Fulton County Emergency Dispatch and the ambulance contractor, Grady EMS, to gather more information. Grady EMS maintains that a, quote, unit was promptly dispatched. However, as our unit was en route, College Park Fire determined that additional EMS support was no longer needed due to the patient being transported to the hospital via a personal vehicle, report Atlanta News First. Sylvester's volleyball club, Dream Chasers, is launching its own initiative as it rallies behind the family. The club set up a GoFundMe, quote, justice for Amanda, to assist the family with funeral expenses and other personal needs, but also to cover the cost of legal funds as they plan their next move. You can make a contribution there to assist them in this tragedy. Obviously, the parents the friends and the faculty who care, none of them saw this coming. You're talking about a star athlete and a star human being. And because of the negligence of our systems of emergency transport in medical situations, this person has passed away. Thoughts and prayers with the family. Yasmin, once again, this is a proxy to the dynamic of healthcare in the United States of America. This is just another permeation of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say this is very similar to what we were just talking about. There's so much wrong with the way we do things in this country. And not to be all pro Doge or whatever, but there really is an appalling amount of government inefficiency. I've been saying this for years before, not to be like I told you so, but it has been an ongoing problem. Elon Musk is not the first one to have said that. That's one of the big reasons why people who weren't, the most MAGA people still voted for Donald Trump back in 2016. If anyone recalls, he said he was going to run the country more like a business, and businesses are painfully efficient because they do not want to lose any money or time. Of course, Trump's idea of running things more like a business had more to do with enriching himself and his friends. But that aside, inefficiency isn't just about money. It has real world consequences in situations where, like this one, wasted time or people just not performing their jobs properly or adequately results in people dying. Whether there was miscommunication here, whether someone just didn't do their job properly, whether, the system failed, whatever the situation was, that little girl has died. Hopefully they can now address those inefficiencies and those miscommunications or whatever and prevent something like this from happening again in the future.